What do England do if Jude Bellingham doesn't produce those two big moments? Without him tonight, England don't win. Without Bellingham, England finish second in the group and they're going into that harder side of the draw against Portugal and potentially Spain. Bellingham was the difference here tonight, just like he was in many ways in the opening game against Croatia, getting that goal just after half-time. He was brilliant in the first match, he was brilliant here tonight. He had an off night in the second game against Ghana. What happened? England drew 0-0. That's why I emerged from here with that concern. Without Bellingham, who was going to step up? Who was going to be England's match winner? It was Harry Kane also. You know, God save the Kane, we said after the first game when he scored those two goals. But Harry, for me, in the last two, in terms of his general play, he's come off it. Yes, he was there tonight on the spot to get the second goal to make sure of the result. But that was because of brilliant Bellingham. You know what I mean? That was because of Bellingham's brilliance on the left there, chopping onto his right and putting the cross on Kane's forehead. He's not going to miss from there. Shouldn't overly worry about Kane per se. He will be there and he will come good when needed. But it's more that unit around it. The wingers, Thomas Tuchel was right to change the wide men tonight. Gordon and Madueke hadn't done nowhere near enough in the first two matches. Rashford started purposefully, then lost his way a little bit. Bukayo Saka on the other wing almost saw too much of the ball. He doesn't look right, he doesn't look fit. There's not that acceleration, there's not that explosion. Perhaps he doesn't trust his body. I say he saw too much of the ball. Rashford started the game really well. He looked in the mood for it. He looked ready to take his chance, but England didn't find him enough. Too much of it went down the right side. Morgan Rogers, playing in the 10, played a couple of little lovely through balls. It was unfortunate for Rogers that they went to Saka, who wasn't really backing himself. He was getting into those areas, Saka, to be kind to him. It just wasn't happening for him, and it was a surprise, really, that he stayed on the pitch for as long as he did. I might have taken Saka off at half-time. Now, he did stay on, and he produced the corner from which Bellingham scores the opener in 62 minutes, but that was as much about Bellingham as it was the delivery there. Having that wit and that smarts to get the right side of his man, just extend the leg and put it in. So I come away from here tonight with big concerns, because Bellingham is England's plan A. Absolutely, but if plan A doesn't turn up, and for whatever reason, he might have those nights or those periods, there's got to be somebody else and something else that England can turn to. So that is one big concern. My other would be, and this is a theory, you know, we're walking out the stadium there talking as journalists, and so goes the theory that England will be better when they come up against better opposition and they've got more room to attack. Well, okay, I get that. I do think that wingers such as Rashford and Gordon, you know, there's perhaps will profit from more space against better opposition who will come out. Absolutely. But what does the other side of that tell you? It tells you you're up against better opposition who are going to come out. And goodness, I'm not at all sure about this defence. Even against Panama there tonight. Panama looked at what Ghana did in the week against England, and immediately Panama didn't really sit in and park the bus. Yes, they were solid and they were organised, but they also had a little bit of ambition. And they went forward and they looked like scoring. They look like scoring after 9 seconds when the centre forward gets the better of Ezri Konsa, has the shot. Then again, they got in repeatedly in behind. So while, yes, it's all very well saying England will be better on the front foot with more space against better opposition, it'll bring out the best, and then that's what Thomas Tuchel and the players think too. But it could also bring out the worst in those at the back. And I just worry that England don't have the defence. They've been caused problems against Croatia by ageing midfielders in terms of Modric and Perisic, and that little ball that Perisic dropped over the top, by a centre forward who plays for FC Dallas. Then against Ghana who were, where they ranked in the world, 73, 74, Ghana caused it, 63, 64, Ghana caused England all manner of problems really when they did show that intent and come out. And again tonight, countless opportunities where this is Panama. You know, respect to them, they were good, they were better than I thought they were, but you know, they're going to have to be better and beat better, far better than Panama if England not to go far in this tournament. And I've got huge concerns about what we've seen at the back in the last 3 games, even though it is 2 clean sheets now. Evidenced by the goal that was offside when the ball gets played in behind Marquis, Panama run through and scored. It's a width of a shoulder offside, but that's the sort of pass that can undo England and did undo England. So at one end, Jude Bellingham, brilliant, wonderful. Let's talk about his excellence. You know, I don't want this to be all negative, but I do leave here with concerns. You've got to look beyond the result and analyse beyond the result. But wow, in Bellingham, perhaps he is going to have to do it in the last 32, the last 60 in the quarter-final. He might just do that. He's coming into this tournament relatively fresh, having missed a lot of football, and he looked it. And I was happy when he went back into the 8 tonight. Declan Rice rested. Bellingham got on the ball more. The cost in the first half was he didn't have as many touches in the box, but then when his side needed it in the second half, around the hour, he stepped up, he put himself in those forward areas. When England had the ball, he almost became that number 10 in many ways, nudged his mate Morgan Rogers out the way. I'll take care of this from here. You've had your go in the first half, nothing's really happened for us. I'll take charge, and that's what he did, and that's what he is. He's a big player for big moments, and crucially as well, everything aside of that, the concerns we had about Bellingham coming into the tournament, not so much coming into the tournament, but if we go back a year, 6 months, it was his place in the camp as a teammate. Thomas Tuchel addressed this. It's why he left him out of the squad in October to send that message. It's why he said what he did last summer in the radio interview. Now, Thomas Tuchel's management of Jude Bellingham to bring him to this place now is, for me, undoubtedly his greatest success as England boss so far. He's got Bellingham where he needs, and I liked him in the 8. He's a wonderful footballer. Get him more on the ball. We saw on Tuesday night against Ghana when he was in the 10, he wasn't really involved. He was waiting for that moment, that opportunity to drop, and it didn't. I think he thrives off having that little bit more responsibility. You're the 8, Jude. You've got Elliot Anderson there behind you as that insurance policy, but it's on you. Feed it that leading man syndrome, that character he's got, and it's good. That's a positive. Feed off that. Bellingham was brilliant tonight. Easily England's best. Although Elliot Anderson stepped up in the second half, there was a 15-minute spell after half-time when he really stamped his authority on the game. A couple of big challenges, a couple of really probing forward balls forward. Was Anderson brilliant on the whole over 90? No, but when his team needed him, like Bellingham, he just sort of set the tone. Anderson was good tonight. Marquis was better, apart from that moment where they're going behind him. That's my concern. The fullbacks worry me. I just don't think England have got the fullbacks with them here. Jarrell Kwanzaa's gone off tonight injured. Who plays at right back going forward? That is a huge concern. On the other side, Nico O'Reilly stepped into midfield, but the game existed around him. Not enough quality, really. Again, we've spoken about the wingers. Saka doesn't look like the Bukayo Saka we know and the Bukayo Saka we need. Noni Madueke comes on, still waiting for that big moment. Anthony Gordon didn't get on tonight. Got to stick with Marcus Rashford on the other side. He had little moments of brilliance, but at times, just lacked that final execution. But I would stick with Rashford, but it's on all of those around Jude Bellingham now to go up to his level. Oh, is it? Do they not just have to give him the platform to go and be that star player, that impact maker, that man who can make the difference in the big moments? Because that's what Bellingham is. In England are terribly lucky to have him there. I hope that wasn't Jude Bellingham walking in front of the buggy there. Yeah, the brakes really went on. No, the guy's nearly knocked over. He's jumping in with him. So there you go. But here we are, guys, outside the MetLife. It was more like the Wet Life tonight. Yeah, it was absolutely soaking there. And that's another thing England have got to contend with. We've had 3 matches so far, 1 under a roof and 2 in very English conditions. And they haven't really clicked in the way I would like to see them click. Now, they're going to the last 32, another game under the roof in Atlanta, but then potentially Mexico City at altitude in the heat. I would have my concerns about that as well. But for tonight, guys, enjoy Jude's brilliance, and Jude was brilliant. Tell me what you think below the line. Do you share those concerns that I've got and those worries? What's the solution to them? Just give me your thoughts on the game on the whole. I enjoyed it here tonight. Plenty to talk about, plenty to get stuck into as ever. Thank you so much for watching. Hit like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back in the week from Atlanta. Might be some Newcastle news in between them. We're expecting, if you are Newcastle supporters who've got this far, we're expecting Arsenal to go back in, if they haven't already, with a second approach for Bruno Guimaraes at some point over the weekend. Let's see how that one plays out. Stay logged on across all of my platforms. My player ratings are in the link in the description below the line, and I'll see you soon. Okay, take care. Little scan this place. There we go. Good night. Bye-bye.